Welcome back to another episode of the Ducks on Base Pod. In today's episode, we'll be covering our six active MLB Pro Ducks throughout the country. We'll be kind of just talking about how they're doing so far. We're about at the halfway point, if not just past, um, of the MLB season. We'll kind of just talk about how they're doing and just our thoughts on how all them Pro Ducks are doing. Fox, you want to start us off?
Yeah, so first we're going to start with Johnny DeLuca, who's been with the Tampa Bay Rays for 3 seasons now after he got traded in the Tyler Glasnow deal in 2024. Um, he's really just struggled with injury over the past few years, but he's been very productive in his short times that he's had this season. He's had 45 games after suffering some small injuries over the season, earning 0.7 WAR, which is pretty good for his limited amount of time that he's played. He's played in 45 games this year. He's batted 269, has a 296 on base percentage, 457 slug, and OPS of 750. Ideally, he gets around in the 800 range like he was in 2025, but he still has plenty of time to come. He has a 105 OPS plus, which is just a little bit above average of league average, and playing more center field, right field, and playing some DH sometimes.
Yeah.
Overall, he's done pretty okay over the season. We'll see if he continues to make a spot for himself in
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's outfield.
Yeah, he suffered a hamstring strain a few weeks back at the end of May. Just got reinstated off the IL, what, 5 days ago or something. But I think Johnny Luca has been a mainstay in the Rays outfield for the last few years since being acquired in the Tyler Glasnow trade, like Fox has said. Um, he's solid. He's a solid guy. Will always be in the lineup when healthy. Um, Produces. I think Tampa Bay is always an interesting team just because it's like they're small market, the way they kind of um, maneuver the roster. But John Lucas a mainstay in our roster, and I think if he'll stay healthy throughout the rest of the year, he'll continue to make an impact on the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, I think he definitely has some positive points, and he still has some time to really pop out. And he did look really good last year. Sadly, only played 20 games, but I think he's definitely a player that can definitely produce for the Rays in the future, and we'll see how he does in the rest of this year. Next, we'll move on to Garrett Clevenger, who's also on the Rays, drafted out of Oregon 2015. He's been on multiple teams. He was on the Phillies, went to the Dodgers in 2021, uh, and then stayed on the Dodgers from 2021 to 2022. Got moved to the Rays in 2022, and he's been there since till 2026. This year, he hasn't had as great of a performance, coming out with a little bit of a negative WAR 0.1. That can easily shift. He's pitched only 19 innings this year. Easily could come back to a positive year after he had a really great year in 2025, pitching to a career best 1.9 WAR. But it's hard to value relievers in WAR. They don't really get that much playing time in comparison to others, and don't really have that long of rate stats. He has a 4.66 ERA, and a 3.36 FIP, a little bit under league average with the 94 ERA plus, but that can easily change based on getting some good starts in a row. But overall, just get some more rate stats with him. He's given up almost the same amount of earned runs, so his run prevention's gone a little bit down, but that just happens year to year with
Yeah.
relievers.
Yeah. I mean, I think, going into the year, they obviously, the last time we talked about our MLB Ducks, we kind of thought Garrett Clevenger would be in the front runner for the closer role. Obviously, Pete Fairbanks, their closer last year, departed and is currently on the Marlins. Um, they did obviously that did not happen. He is still their like setup guy, eighth inning guy. After they acquired Brian Baker last year. But I think Tampa Bay kind of they're not flashy with their pen, but I think he's been solid, been consistent for the most part. Um, there's not really any like numbers that kind of worry us in terms of like regression, like significant regression or negative performance. But I hope he continues to be a linchpin for the Rays bullpen, obviously, as they hope to pursue postseason baseball back in St. Petersburg.
Yep. Next, we'll go on to a team that's unlikely to compete for postseason contention right now. The Cincinnati Reds with Spencer Steer. Spencer Steer had a pretty down year last year. He's not done fantastic to start the year, but could always come back. He has a little bit above league average hitting with an OPS of 101. Far cry from his great 2023 where he got Rookie of the Year votes, but he's still coming back up. He's largely improved. He's just gotten, I think, a little bit better slug and on base percentage this season, giving him a little bit better OPS. But he's already halfway through the season. He's already above half of his home runs from last year. So he could hit maybe 25, 26 home runs this year, which would be a big boost to the Reds overall. But he's largely just had a better performance over the year. And we'll see where he goes next. Goes with the rest of the year. The Reds just got hit with another set of injuries. Ella De La Cruz is out for another 10 days. He got put on the IL today. And we'll just see. I mean, it's just difficult right now. The NL Central is going crazy this year. They might get maybe 2-3 teams in, but we'll see overall.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing, I think we kind of knew this beforehand. He's definitely played at a lot of different positions, partially because of injury and partially because they kind of just need him to. He's played a bunch of games at first. He's played some third for odd reasons. Second, also played left and right. I don't think he's DH much this year. But I think it's kind of interesting to see how they use Spencer Steer. Obviously, I think he was primarily an infielder when he was at Oregon. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's interesting considering, like, obviously their roster makeup and their current injury situation. So I kind of would be interested to see, like, can Spencer Steer build out some value where either the Reds have to, he's still, I think, arbitration under arm for, I think, 2 more years. So it'll be interesting to see if he can build up enough value where they, keep him under contract, or they eventually trade him off for someone who needs a guy that can play multiple positions, but like are able to keep him at one, maybe two positions. So I think it'll be interesting, especially considering that the Reds aren't most likely not going to make the postseason this year. So I think that'll be an interesting thing to look out for. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they've just been hamstrung by injuries, and they made some bad. The Reds have made some bad business decisions. I think they thought that Gavin Lux would be a big performer for them. He's on the Rays. They signed the um, they signed the third baseman of the Marlins last year. I forgot his name. Oh no, not the Marlins, the Mariners last year.
No, yeah, Suarez.
Yeah, Suarez. He hasn't been fantastic for them this season, so we'll see what comes of it. We'll move to Ryan Nelson, who just got put on the injured list. He's had a down season overall compared to last season. Last season, he got it was his third. I think it was really his first full season of getting consistent starts after he got moved to the bullpen. And he's struggled a little bit overall. Home runs, like his home run prevention is worsened. He has twice as many home runs. His strikeouts went down a tick, but I mean, if you give up more home runs, it's not great. Hopefully, he comes back healthy and improves his rate stats.
Yeah,
but there's definitely some hope for him as he goes into another season with the Diamondbacks. Hopefully, he gets healthy soon. Same thing with David Peterson. He had a really great year last year, first All-Star appearance. He really slowed down at the end of last year, and then you could see it again this year. He's really struggled. The rate stats say that he's better than what he's actually producing, but it's not amazing. 6 ERA, 3.85 WHIP, FIP. His WHIP went up 0.3 to 1.67, 6.47. He's just giving up more hits, having more walks, giving up a little bit more home runs, but just gotta get just hopefully he gets healthy. Oh, he's not healthy. Oh, there's nothing saying that he's not healthy this year, but he's struggled largely and has an inconsistent role right now with the struggling Mets.
Yep. I think obviously last year with how the year shook out, Clay Holmes went down early for the Mets last year. And this is before the emergence of guys like Nolan McLean, Jonah Tong, and Brendan Sprout, who is now on the Brewers. David Peterson was able to make his mark. Obviously, like Fox said, he was selected for his first All-Star game last year, but unfortunately, just hasn't been able to replicate that this year or come even close. But I think that a lot of it has to correlate with the Mets struggling and a lot of new faces. Freddie Peralta, who they traded for, a lot of new guys in the rotation. So it'll be interesting to see how David Peterson performs in the second half. Do want to note he is a free agent at the end of the year. That is obviously dependent on if MLB goes into the lockout, which probably. But yeah, I think David Peterson, if he bounces back, I think he should get himself a nice sizable contract. He is 30. He'll be 31 by free agency. So it'll be interesting to see how how he bounces back for the second half of the year, and what if you want to look further, what kind of contract he'll get in the open market.
Yeah, and there's always a need for extra starters.
Yeah.
In the MLB, teams are always trying to make the 6-man rotation just to keep starters healthy. And even out of the bullpen, there's likely a spot if he could up velo or something like that coming out of the bullpen or being a long reliever.
Yeah, 4 or 5 arm. A lot of teams. It is nice to have the Jacob Mizorowskis, the Paul Skeens, the Shohei Otanis of the world, right? Like leading your rotation, but you obviously still want quality guys to fill out the back of your rotation. So we'll definitely be room for him somewhere, whether it's the Mets or a different organization. But that's 6 months, 12 months from now. So we'll see what happens for the rest of 2026 for David Peterson.
And last we have Robbie Alstrom, the last current Duck that's in the MLB. Riku Nishida did get called up. We'll talk about him in our MLB since he got sent down. But Robbie Alstrom came out of Oregon 2021 in the 7th round, drafted by the New York Yankees, but is now with the Texas Rangers. He's had a decent performance in AAA before this. Now he's up in the majors, played 8 games so far. He's finished 2 of them. He's pitched 9 innings so far. He's only given up 1 run. Allows a hit, a walk or a hit every innings he's pitched, but he's had 5 strikeouts per 9, 3 walks per 9, which is not that great, but he has a 1 ERA so far. Yeah. He's overall had a decent performance at the age of 27. So congrats to him on getting up to the majors, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the North Eugene high school alum obviously made his debut. I think he's there. There's a funny, the story about how he got his first major league win was a funny one where they retroactively gave him it. But I think the Rangers bullpen has mightily struggled this year. They just haven't put it together. They maybe have 2 good guys. So definitely look out for Robbie Alstrom as he continues to move up the pecking order in the Rangers bullpen. I would expect him to start getting high leverage opportunities alongside, I believe Jacob Latz is their main, high leverage guy that they trust. So I think it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, congratulations to Robbie for making his MLB debut. And we hope to see him continue to succeed out of the Rangers bullpen this year.
All right. Also, by the time we've recorded this, congrats to Oklahoma for winning the national championship. Congrats to all the teams that made Omaha. Oregon's really. We'll talk about it more in a few weeks when we get to our transfer portal video. Oregon's really struggled in keeping some of the best talent here, but we do have some good players coming in. There's still hope for a good season next year, and there's always the draft, and you'll see who gets signed, who doesn't.
Yeah,
there's always could be like a Tanner Bradley that comes out of nowhere, kind of, and just really helps the bullpen or the pitching staff or even the hitting staff.
Yeah, we'll definitely be covering a lot of the Oregon program throughout the offseason. So make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. And obviously continue to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We'll be continuing to push out content, as we near the draft, as portal guys come in, things of that nature. But with that being said, we'll see you guys back here for the next episode.